What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the stream, guys. Appreciate all y'all being here. As always, man, we got an 8-game slate tonight to talk about. Should be another, pretty interesting slate. Kind of a straightforward day. There's a lot of clear plays today. There's a few clear plays, I should say. Not a lot of clear plays, but there's a couple guys that do stand out quite a bit. Mainly the Raptors. We saw what happened last night. No Van Vliet, no Kyle Lowry. Really good game from DeAndre Bembry, who was super cheap. Like him again, really good game from Malachi Flynn off the bench, super cheap again. Siakam, OG kind of busted, but I think those guys, look really good today. Going to be a focal point to go back to those Raptors. But there's some other, big injuries we're still waiting on. We got to see what happens with the Pelicans. They got like 2 or 3 guys questionable. Lonzo's in, but Zion, Brandon Ingram, Steven Adams, all questionable. Pretty big injuries over there as well. Definitely think the Raptors and the Pelicans are like the 2 most important teams today. But there's other guys questionable, like Sabonis is questionable, Malcolm Brogdon's questionable, Jamal Murray's now questionable, which that's going to impact a decent amount if he were to get ruled out. So yeah, we'll talk about all that over the next 30 minutes or so. Answer all you guys' questions as always. Patrick Bush, $5 super chat. Again, Patrick, thank you for the support, man. He says thank you for your videos and giving great content. I appreciate that, Patrick. Thank you for the super chat, and as always, man, thank you for supporting the channel. Bembry, yeah, DD, I think Bembry, clearly one of the better value plays today. We've seen like when Bembry gets starts, like whenever Lowry was out, I think it was a couple months ago, Lowry missed some games and Bembry would start in place of Lowry and like he really wouldn't do anything. Well, now with Fred VanVleet also out, I think that's pretty huge. I think that does give a big boost in Bembry because Bembry's someone that, can handle the ball. He can be a point guard, and he started at point guard last night, and he was really productive, played big minutes. He's still super cheap, minimum salary. Yeah, I think Bembry's a really good play. And Malachi Flynn as well. Malachi Flynn, when it was announced he wasn't starting, I got a little worried about him, but I still played him. He was still in my core plays, and he had a huge game off the bench, so I think we can also look to go back to him. What's up, Noah? 3 Raptors tonight. Yeah, I think that's right now, Jay. I think it's fine to play 3 Raptors, even maybe 4. I could see playing 4, but definitely 2 to 3 is totally fine. We got to wait and see what happens with the Pelicans though. Like if Zion and Brandon Ingram are out again, Lonzo's going to look really good. Eric Bledsoe's going to look really good. I'm going to be wanting to go to those guys for sure. Mark, thank you for becoming a member, man. I appreciate the additional support. You'll have a little VIP badge next to your name. I'll try and prioritize members' questions as always. I try and answer everyone's questions, but members, I do appreciate all their support. I try and answer their questions first. So thank you for becoming a member, Mark. I appreciate that, man. If no Brogdon, do you like a lot or how much of TJ McConnell? I mean, TJ McConnell would be a very strong option if Brogdon's out. There's I would say that if Zion and Ingram are out again, like Lonzo is probably going to be my favorite point guard overall. And then you got Malachi Flynn that you can use for value as well. But I do like TJ McConnell quite a bit. He'll definitely be in play for me if Brogdon's out. But Brogdon practiced yesterday, so I'm assuming that Brogdon's going to play. But we'll see. Yo, Noah, let's get it. Hey, let's get it, Michael. Let's get it, my man. I hope this is a better slate. I've only cashed 3 times in the last 10 days. I mean, these last few slates haven't been great for me either, Mark. I had a really good day, I think it was Thursday or Friday. Since then, I've kind of gone downhill, but I like this slate. I think we're going to bounce back tonight for sure. I think they updated Adams to healthy. Oh, they did? I saw he was going to be in concussion protocol. Okay, he's not on the injury report. Okay, well, Steven Adams is good to go, so but it's still like Zion and Brandon Ingram are both questionable. So if last game they actually started Jackson Hayes, they went with Lonzo, Eric Bledsoe, James Johnson, Jackson Hayes, and Steven Adams. That was their starting lineup. So I don't know if Jackson Hayes would start again if Zion were to be out, and if Brandon Ingram were to be out. I assume if one of those 2 guys is out, you'll probably see James Johnson start, and James Johnson would be a really good play as well. I was surprised they started Jackson Hayes alongside Steven Adams. That was kind of weird. 68 watching, 21 likes. Step up the likes, boys. Yeah, guys, hit that like button. I appreciate all the likes, man. I know I haven't streamed over the last few days, but I wanted to get back today. Usually I don't stream on the weekends. Monday, my grandpa wanted to go play golf, so I wasn't able to. I thought I'd be back in time to stream, but we got back a little late. Vucevic or Butler? I'd probably go with Vooch between those 2. Is Drew a good pick for Yahoo today? I mean, I don't have much interest in Drew, especially with Giannis playing. I know Drew's been playing really well lately, but now that his prices come up and Giannis is expected to be back today, I don't have a ton of interest in Drew. Any money line picks for today? I mean, I don't bet on sports, James, or at least I can't where I live. I probably would if sports betting was legal where I lived, but I don't sports bet. Have you been doing baseball videos? I haven't really been doing baseball videos, Mitchell, just because I'm still playing MLB and I'm still putting up content for MLB on Patreon. But, the videos that do really well on my channel are NBA. NBA is clearly what does well on my channel. I mean, you can just look at the views and you can see that. While NBA is still going on, I think NBA is going to be the focus for me. But, maybe when NBA season's over, I'll probably start back with baseball. But for now, the plan is to just, keep grinding NBA and putting up NBA videos on the channel. And I know I could make NBA and MLB videos, but, when you do that, when you make two videos, it really, hurts the other one. So, it's going to hurt my NBA video if I put up, an MLB video too. So I think for now, I'm just going to focus on NBA at least. But, I'm still playing MLB. I'm still in the NBA, or still in the MLB streets playing every day. Siakam and Gary Trent or Giannis and Monte Morris. If Jamal Murray's out, I'd definitely take Giannis and Monte Morris there. Green or Siakam? I'd probably rather have Siakam between the two. You okay with Drew Holiday as the last piece in? Like I said, Daniel, I'm not really on Drew Holiday now that Giannis is back, especially with Drew's price coming up. If I was going to play any buck today, it'd be Giannis. I don't have much interest in Drew. Do you like Embiid today? Not really, not on this slate. I think I'd just rather play Giannis. There's other center. I'd rather play Siakam for cheaper. I really like Clint Capella again. You got Enes Kanter you could play in the mid-range. I'm probably not going to Embiid. Does that take Capella out of play? Steven Adams playing? No, I don't think so. Is VanVleet out? Yes, VanVleet is out. He got ruled out earlier today in the afternoon. That price of Zach LaVine on both DK and FanDuel. Yeah, Zach LaVine, he's super cheap. His price has come way down, but it kind of makes sense because he's been bad lately. He hasn't put up more than, I think it's 40 DK points if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since LaVine's had a good game. Yeah, he's gone 5 straight with less than 36 DK points. I mean, he's been bad, but I think this is definitely a spot where you can buy low on Zach LaVine. He's not going to be a guy that puts up 35 fantasy points every night. We know he's going to put up that 50 piece at some point. Is it going to happen today? I don't know, but $7,800 for Zach LaVine is definitely too cheap in my opinion. If you look at the guys priced around him, I think I'd rather have Zach LaVine over Middleton, Jaylen Brown. Probably would rather have him over CJ McCollum as well, and Drew Holiday. It'd be close between him and Paul George though. God bless your grandpa, my brother. Hey, yeah, me and my grandpa, we like to go play golf. He's a big golfer. He was the guy that got me into golf, and me and him, we usually play once a week. It's fun because we're on the same skill level, so it gets pretty competitive. We normally shoot around the same score. Kanter since Nurkic is out, yeah, I mean, I really like Kanter. I think $6K on DK, probably a little bit too cheap for him. I would say that, if Nurkic was playing today, Kanter would be priced appropriately, but since Nurkic is out, Kanter should be probably closer to 7K. He does feel too cheap for sure. It's just we have a lot of good centers today. You have Clint Capella, you've got Siakam, you can play at center. There's some other guys, I forgot, Jokic you got at the top. Giannis is center eligible. Draymond I like, he's center eligible. So there's a lot of good center options, but yeah, I mean, I think Kanter is someone you can definitely look to. Shooting guard under 4K. I mean, probably right now, my favorite cheap shooting guard would probably be Grayson Allen, but he's 4,400. Under 4K, it would definitely be Monte Morris. If Jamal Murray's out, it would for sure be Monte Morris. I don't know when we're going to get that news though, since the Nuggets don't play till 9 o'clock. But King Carter, if Jamal Murray's out, I would definitely take Monte Morris there. How do you feel about Drummond's minutes tonight? I mean, we don't really know yet. We haven't seen any report on what his minutes are going to look like. My best guess is that he probably doesn't play enough to be rosterable. But if we get word that Drummond's on no minutes limit, then yeah, I think he's 6,500 on his whatever his DK price is. I think it's 6,500. He's definitely too cheap if he's going to play full minutes. But I mean, last game they said he wasn't going to be on a minutes limit. He didn't play much. I think he played 7 minutes in the first quarter. and he played like 7 minutes in the second quarter. Then he got injured and didn't return. So he was on pace for like 30 minutes, I think, when he did play last game. I mean, I'm probably not going to Drummond unless we get word that there's no minutes limit. Who do you suggest with 8K left to spend at shooting guard? If not Drew, I mean, if you can find $100, I'd probably try and get up to Paul George. If not, then I think Zach LaVine. I'd probably rather have Zach LaVine over Drew. Any interest in Hayes? Only if he starts again. If he doesn't start again, I don't have any interest. But last game they started him alongside Steven Adams, so we'll have to see if they do that again. Turner, if Sabonis is out, or Cantor, I'd probably rather go Turner there. If Sabonis gets ruled out, I think I'd actually rather have Turner. I played Turner last slate. I was very high on him last slate when Sabonis was out. If Sabonis sits again, I think Turner's a really good option. What's good, Noah? What's up, Galvin? What's up, my man? What's up, Noah? What do you think about Schroeder today? I mean, I think he's a fine option. I don't think he's someone I'm really prioritizing on this slate. I think I'd definitely rather have Lonzo, especially if Zion and Ingram are out again. I would for sure rather play Lonzo over Schroeder. But Schroeder's viable. He's not a bad play. Just not someone I'm starting with. If I'm playing one lineup tonight, I doubt I play Schroeder. Vooch or Capella? I think I'd rather have Capella. Capella or Siakam? Yeah, that's a close one. I think I'd rather have Siakam. I mean, I know Siakam burned me last slate. I'm sure he burned a lot of you guys as well. But just with no Van Vliet, with no Lowry, I mean, you would expect Siakam to be very productive when he's out there. So I think I'd rather have Siakam, but it's close for sure between those two. Thoughts on Isaiah Stewart? I mean, Isaiah Stewart, he was a good value play yesterday when Mason Plumlee was out, but Mason Plumlee is expected to play today, so I don't have interest in Isaiah Stewart. If no Sabonis, how do you like Miles Turner for value or for value Dougie McBuckets? I mean, yeah, if Sabonis is out, I think Turner gets a pretty sizable bump up, and then Doug McDermott you could look to as well. But I think Turner would be the priority for me from the Pacers if Sabonis is out. How do you feel about Trae Young and Herter tonight? Trae Young I like a decent amount. He was another guy that burned me last slate, and Trae Young really hasn't been great lately. He hasn't put up more than 50 fantasy points in like 10 straight games. We haven't seen a good game from Trae Young in a while. But in a good matchup like this against a fast-paced Pelicans team, if there was ever a spot for Trae Young to finally put up a big game, I feel like this would be it. So I think people are going to be off of him because you look at the game log, it's not great. But I still like Trae Young, especially if you play Yahoo. I think Trae Young's way too cheap over there. He's $37 on Yahoo. Really like him on Yahoo. He's still a solid option on DK though. How do you feel about Duncan Robinson as the last man in? I'm probably not going there, Mark. Duncan Robinson just, even as the last guy in, not someone I really have interest in. Bogdanovich or Trent at shooting guard? I think I'd rather have Gary Trent since we already know Van Vliet's out. But that is pretty close. I mean, Gary Trent, another guy that was very popular last night, disappointed, but I'd be fine going right back to him. Basically, Siakam, OG, Trent, Flynn, Bembry, Boucher, I think all 6 of those guys from Toronto are viable. I probably wouldn't play any other Raptors, but all 6 of those guys, obviously you're not going to play those 6 guys in one lineup, but they're all viable for me. I'm a new subscriber. Can I get any tips on playing small tournaments? If you're playing small field tournaments, I would say D Brown to build, more of an optimal lineup, like a cash game lineup, just what you think the most optimal team is, and then, maybe make 1 or 2 pivots. You don't have to get too different in a small tournament. Obviously, if you're playing, the big field GPPs with 50, 60,000 entries in them, you're going to have to get pretty different to take that down. But in a small field tournament, you don't have to get super off the board. So just having 1 or 2 low-on guys really can just be what separates you from the field. You can play, in small field tournaments, you can play a lot of the chalk and be fine. And even if the chalk busts, even if you have a couple snowflakes, in small field tournaments, you can still take them down with 1 or 2 snowflakes. You don't have to have a perfect lineup like you do, the big entry GPPs or the GPPs with a lot of entries in them. Kobe, thank you for the $1 super chat. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the support. Thank you, man. I don't think you can leave a message if you do $1, but I appreciate that, Kobe. Thank you. Have they decided if Drummond's playing? I think last I saw he was probable. He was expected to play, but let me confirm that. Oh, he's still questionable. So he's questionable. We don't know yet. I mean, I assume he plays, but we'll have to wait and see there as well. I don't care what he did last game. I have 2 to 3 Toronto on most lineups. Evan, I don't care if Siakam busted last night. I don't care the OG, Gary Trent, if they busted. I mean, they're clearly going to be the guys that dominate the usage on this team. I love going right back to those guys. I don't care if they busted last night. Grayson Allen or Monte Morris if Jamal Murray's out. I'd rather have Monte Morris there, Mark. DK core. I mean, Joshua, I can't give out core plays. I give out in my videos, I give out an early core what I like the night before. But if you want my full updated core plays, you can get those on Patreon. I can't give everything away for free, man. Sorry. Who's your favorite power forward on DK? I mean, it's probably Siakam. Either like Siakam, Draymond, or Aaron Gordon, but probably Siakam I like most. How do you feel about a Curry and Giannis stack with Toronto value? I mean, I think that's totally fine, Ryan. Especially like in tournaments, I think stacking Curry and Giannis makes plenty of sense. No, where are you from? Is that the Panthers? If you're talking about like my profile pick, yeah, I took that at a Panthers game, but I'm from South Carolina. But yeah, the Panthers are like the closest NFL team to where I live. But yeah, my profile picture that I took like 5 years ago, that was at a Panthers game. It was when they played the Chargers and Melvin Gordon got hurt. It was that game. That was a long time ago. But I'm from South Carolina, Kobe. And thank you for the $2 super chat, man. Thank you again for the support. Do you get hit with seasonal allergies? I mean, not really, DD. I'm knock on wood, I'm someone that doesn't really get sick often. But the funny thing is, my dog, I've had to take him to the vet like twice over the last month because he gets allergies. He had like an ear infection. He's had like some rashes in his crotch area. My dog actually, has bad allergies, but I'm good. I normally don't get sick that often. Knock on wood. Now that I say that, I'll probably wake up tomorrow morning and feel like shit, but normally I don't get sick or get, allergies or anything. Wiggins and Morant or LeVert at 7,200. I would say for now, I'd say Morant, but if Malcolm Brogdon or Sabonis, if one of those two guys were to get ruled out, I would probably take LeVert in that case. Trust me, look at past stats on games where teams are running a 6 to 7 man core. Minutes are gold. Yeah, I mean, that's very true, Evan. Anytime you get a guy or get a team that, is going to run a tight rotation, there's always going to be guys you want to target on teams that run a tight rotation. What's your name on DK? It's GOAT of DFS, John. GOAT of DFS. That's my username on DK and Yahoo. Jackson Hayes playable with Adams not on the injury report. Right now, Ryan, I'm going to say no. But last game they started Jackson Hayes alongside Steven Adams. I don't know if they're going to do that today. If Zion and Ingram are out again, they could. So for now, it's just a wait and see. If Jackson Hayes is not starting, then I'm not playing him. Thoughts on Bogdan and Gallo? Gallo, I don't have a ton of interest in, but I think Bogdan, as a mid-range option at shooting guard, he's up there with Eric Bledsoe in terms of like favorite shooting guard plays. I would say that if Zion and Ingram are out again, I would probably rather have Bledsoe over Bogdan, though. Jeremy Grant or Draymond? I think I'd rather have Draymond there. This is why I fuck with you. You're spot on. Plus, you run your live show nice and early. I work most nights bartending, so I have to play lighter and be safer, which sucks for GPPs. Hey, I hate that, Evan. Yeah, I understand, man. Luckily I'm able to do this full time, but I would say that even if I worked like a normal job and I had to work at night, like I'd probably still be playing. I mean, I love playing DFS, man. It's so fun. Even when you get in downswings, even when you lose a lot, it's fun to. I think I enjoy the sweat of watching the games, having money on the line. Sports betting not legal in South Carolina, so this is like my only way to quote unquote gamble, I guess. Which do you prefer, CJ or Drew? Probably CJ if I had to take one. Your dog got an STD? I don't think he's got an STD, but they said at the vet, he's got like allergies. I've had to take him I would say like over the last 3 months, I've had to take him like at least like 3 times to the vet because he gets just rashes and stuff and he starts scratching at it. How do you feel about Williams against Embiid? On this slate, I don't think I'm going to Robert Williams. Just tough matchup. A spot where he could definitely get into foul trouble. I think there's just other centers I'd rather go to over Robert Williams today. I mean, Robert Williams I love him like as a player. I mean, he's so productive when he's out there. But this just feels like a spot where I probably don't want to go there. Who's a stud on DK who could be overlooked and low owned? I mean, I think, you look at Trae Young's game log. I don't think anyone's playing Trae Young tonight. Maybe I'll be wrong and he'll be somewhat popular, but Trae Young's been so bad lately. He hasn't put up a good game in literally like 10 straight games. I don't see him being that popular. And I still think the upside's there for Trae Young. He's not going to be a guy that puts up 45 fantasy points every night. He's going to put up a 55, 60 piece at some point. I've been burned so many times by Morant. Grizzlies are always hard to play. Yeah, the Grizzlies, another team that just, they run a deep rotation. They give a lot of their bench guys good minutes. The Grizzlies are a tough team to gauge on a night-to-night basis. Like, they're just a team I don't play a ton. Like, the last time I went heavy on the Grizzlies was like, I don't even know. It was a couple months ago when they played Washington, and it was like a short slate. I remember I played like 3 or 4 Grizzlies that day, but normally the Grizzlies are just not a team I really look to roster much of. And Morant, just somebody I can never get right. Anytime I play him, he always sucks. Good luck tonight, y'all. Thanks, Noah, for all the content. You're the man. Hey, good luck, T-Money. Good luck, my man. Which of the 2 Toronto cheap chalk players is the safer of the 2 considering price, Bembry or Flynn? Probably Bembry just because he did start last night, but I think Flynn's a more productive player. Bembry's the starter, though, and Bembry's also a little bit cheaper. Bembry's probably the safest, but I think those guys, Bembry and Flynn, look like 2 of the better values right now. What's your thoughts on Giannis and bring it back with Curry? Yeah, we mentioned that earlier, Mark. I think that's something you can definitely do in tournaments. I don't know if I'd be playing Giannis and Curry in cash games, but like tournaments, you can definitely do that. Because if this game stays close, it's very likely that Giannis and Curry could be having both of them having huge games. Giannis could probably still put up 60 in a blowout, but Curry, you're going to want those, fourth quarter minutes. Any Celtics? Probably not, DD, not for me. Like, I think if I had to play any Celtics, it would probably be, Robert Williams if I had to, or maybe like a Jaylen Brown. Like on Yahoo, small forward's not the best position, so I could maybe see playing Jaylen Brown there, but not the Celtics. The Celtics are not a team I'm really looking to. OG or Gary Trent? If I had to choose between the 2, I'd probably take OG, but I think with Van Vliet out again, both are solid options. I feel good about pairing Curry and Giannis tonight and cash on DK. I guess you could do that. I don't know if Curry's going to be someone I jam in cash games, but Giannis, you can always play Giannis in cash, and especially on this slate, I think he's clearly one of the top projected studs. I think Curry's more of a tournament option, though. I don't know if I'd be going there in cash games. Because it depends, if Zion and Ingram are out, I'd rather play Lonzo at point guard in cash for, $2,000 less. Point guard for $6K. Let's see. I would say that if Brogdon's out, I would definitely take TJ McConnell there, 5,300. If Brogdon plays, then probably like a Marcus Smart. I don't really like Marcus Smart that much, but he's probably my favorite option in that range. There's not much in that 6K range that I like at point guard. But I would say McConnell, if Brogdon's out, I would take there. Thoughts on Grayson Allen? Yeah, I have some interest in Grayson Allen for sure, especially with DeAnthony Melton and Justice Winslow both out. Like we said earlier, Memphis, they're a team that runs a pretty deep rotation. Like they're going to play 4 or 5 guys off the bench every night. But, Grayson Allen, feel pretty confident that he gets around 30 minutes. The production's always inconsistent with him, but he's cheap. The minutes should be there. If you need a pay-down option at shooting guard, I think Grayson Allen does look solid. But like we mentioned earlier, if Jamal Murray's out, I would rather play Monte Morris over Grayson Allen. Last man in, Gary Trent, Bledsoe, or Canner. If Zion and Ingram are both out, I would play Bledsoe there. But if they play, then I would probably take... It would be between Canner or Trent. I'd probably take Trent. So for now, it's just a wait and see. If Zion and Ingram are out, then Bledsoe's my favorite option there. Thoughts on Kawhi? Kawhi's viable, but I don't know if this is a slate where I'm really jamming in Kawhi. Normally when Kawhi and PG are both healthy, I never just jam both of them in, or even one of the two. Especially on a 8-gamer where you have other stud options. If I'm paying up for a stud tonight, I think it's going to be Giannis or Trae Young or Curry, one of those 3. Kawhi's probably my 4th or 5th favorite option. Jeremy Grant on DK. Jeremy Grant's in play now. I'd probably rather have Draymond for a little bit cheaper over Jeremy Grant, but we know he's going to get big minutes. The main worry there is that, can Detroit keep it close against Denver? But if they can, it's probably going to be because of Jeremy Grant. And, revenge game, if you want to factor that in, for sure, I guess you can. Jeremy Grant, though, does feel a little bit too cheap. I still think I'd rather probably play Draymond, though. Who are we thinking for center plays? There's a lot of good centers tonight. Jokic, if you're paying up. Capella, Siakam, I like a lot in that 8K range. You got Canner, you got Boucher. I think there's someone else I'm missing. Can't like. I mean, those are a couple centers I like. Are you trying to run it back with any Lakers? I mean, probably not. Like, I'd be fine playing three, 4 Raptors on this slate and not playing any Lakers. I don't think you have to play any Lakers, honestly. Capella or Vooch? I'd rather have Capella there, Martin, between those two. You think Gordon can keep it up? Every time I play him, he busts. I mean, yeah, Aaron Gordon's finally been getting big minutes, and he's been playing well these last few games. You know, when he first made his debut with Denver, he really wasn't good, like the first 2 games, but he's been playing a lot better. He's still pretty affordable. I have a good amount of interest in Aaron Gordon. I'm sure tonight I'll play him and he'll go back to playing 28 minutes and disappoint, but if he keeps playing big minutes like he has, I mean, he should be more than 6,300, especially if Jamal Murray's out. Like, if Jamal Murray's out, that just makes me like Aaron Gordon even more. I can get in Curry, Holiday, Giannis, and Draymond. I mean, if you can make it work and you like the rest of your lineup, David, I mean, no problem with that. Hey, Noah, got killed last night, man. Had Harden, Kleber, Neto, DeRozan, and Trent. Damn, that's bad. I mean, yeah, Harden, that was obviously nothing you could do there. He got injured. Luckily, you know, I said this in my video the other night. Harden was my favorite stud, but if Bradley Beal got ruled out, you know, Westbrook would become my favorite option. So luckily, I had Harden in my lineup on DK and Yahoo, but luckily I was able to swap to Westbrook once Beal got ruled out. Kind of got bailed out there. But yeah, I feel for you if you played Harden. Sucks, man. Injuries are just, they're part of the game. They're part of the game. Everyone's gonna roster a guy that gets injured. It happens to everybody. Obviously, you know, when a stud gets injured, it's even worse, especially when it's early in the game. Then you're basically, your night's over at that point. Do you like Killian Hayes at 3K on DK for a cheap paydown? I mean, I haven't even really looked at Killian Hayes. I don't know how many minutes he's been getting. I know he just came back from injury. So in his 2 games back, he's played 20 and 25 minutes. I mean, I guess, yeah, he could be viable. I'd probably still rather just find the salary to get up to Killian Hayes, or to get up to Malachi Flynn over Killian Hayes, but I'm assuming, you know, Malachi Flynn's going to be way more popular, so I mean, I guess Killian Hayes is viable, 3K. If he gets like 25 minutes again, he should be able to pay off a minimum salary price point. Sorry I'm late. How's your day going? Day's going pretty well, Day's going pretty well. How about yourself? Hope you're doing well. Aaron Gordon, if Murray's out, yeah, Aaron Gordon, we just said, I mean, I think he would definitely benefit. Him and Monte Morris, those would be the 2 guys I'd be most interested in. But, you know, Will Barton would also get a little bit of a boost if Murray's out as well. But, like, Monte Morris, he's like 3,900 on DK. I'm sure he's minimum salary on Yahoo. Let me see. Oh, he's $13 on Yahoo, but he's still really cheap. Monte Morris would be, you know, a really good value play if Jamal Murray's out. Thoughts on Golden State Warriors, guys? For me, if I'm playing any Warriors tonight, I think it's going to be either Curry or Draymond. I know Oubre had a huge game last game, but Oubre's just been someone, you know, he can put up 50 one night and give you 15 the next night. Like, Oubre he's so off and on. So I feel most confident in Curry and Draymond. Those would be the only 2 Warriors I think I'd be going to on this slate. Drew or Paul George? I think I'd rather have Paul George between those 2. I know, thanks for all the hard work. Guys, check out his Patreon if you can. It's well worth it. Hey, I'm glad to hear that, Chris. I'm glad you're enjoying the Patreon content, man. And thank you, as always, for the support, Chris, for being a member, being a Patreon member. You definitely support the channel a lot and support me, so I appreciate that, brother. I'm glad the content helps, though. I try and do my best, give you guys, you know, all the most updated content I can. Try and update everything as quickly as possible. And I'm always in Discord, you know, answering questions, talking through the slate with you guys for the Patreon members. No BS, I would sell my soul to the devil to be off work all night and play DFS. I mean, yeah, I understand, Evan. I would say that if I worked, like, I would probably want to work, like, morning and be off at night, so that way, you know, I could sweat DFS and stuff, but I would still find a way to be playing somehow. Be like, hey, boss, can I, you know, take 5 minutes to fill out my lineup real quick? Sure, man. Appreciate it. That's how I would be. I would assume if you're a bartender, you probably have some time to do that. But hey, Evan, I would say you probably already do this, but definitely get some alerts on. If you have Fantasy Labs alerts turned on, those can be very beneficial, so you can still stay up to date with the news and stuff. Like, even when I'm not at my computer checking for news, like, I have alerts on my phones and stuff, so always, you know, getting all the updates. AG and Bledsoe or Draymond and Monte? I would say that if Zion and Ingram are both out, I would play Aaron Gordon and Bledsoe there. Would you avoid the 76ers Celtics game as a whole? I mean, there's not much interest in me from that. Like, I don't have a ton of interest in that game overall. Sure, you could play Embiid. Sure, you could play Jason Tatum, but in my opinion, those are just really low-owned tournament plays that, you're just hoping you catch an upside game from them. They clearly don't project as, like, top options on this slate. Chances Embiid breaks the slate with an 80 burger. I mean, Embiid could go off any night, but I don't think this is a slate where I'm playing Embiid personally. Good luck, everybody. Let's get this money. Hey, let's get it, Willie. And good luck, my man. Draymond, Aaron Gordon, Bogdanovich, or Oubre need one. Let's see. If we have news that Jamal Murray's out, I would take Aaron Gordon there. We probably won't get that news before lock, though. So you might want to just play it. Well, let's see. What time? So the Bucks are the last game of the night. So what time? Denver plays at 9. Bogdanovich, they play at 7:30. And then Oubre plays at... I'd probably just wait, honestly, Nick. So I would wait till later in the night for Jamal Murray news. If we get news that he's out, you just play Aaron Gordon. And if Jamal Murray winds up playing, you could just swap to Draymond, I guess. Or you could still play Aaron Gordon, but probably where I would go there. Do you play DFS full-time? I don't play DFS full-time. I mean, that's really, really hard to do. Not many people do that. Obviously, I put content out on YouTube. I have Patreon content. DFS is just like, it's a side income for me. It's so hard to play DFS full-time. You have to be incredibly good to do that as your full-time job. So, no, I do not play DFS full-time. Is filling your lineup with a bunch of Raptors the move? I mean, I think 3 to 4 Raptors. Right now, that's totally fine with me. I could definitely see playing Siakam, Bembry, Flynn, OG, all in one lineup. Don't mind that at all. Don't get me wrong, guys. Definitely sneak off and still play tonight. And this is why I'm playing 2 $12 single entry, 2 $5 single entry, and a $27 single entry, all in DK. That's playing light. Hey, whatever works, Evan. Whatever works, my man. Thanks for all the great and honest advice. I'm going to be proactive and positive, and thank you early for a big win tonight. Let's get that money. Hey, let's get it, Mark. Let's get it, my man. Thank you again for the super chat. Thank you always for your support, man. Appreciate it. Trent stunk last night. Yeah, he stunk last night, but I think that's going to help to keep his ownership down for this slate. So I still like going back to Garrett Trent and Siakam and OG. I still like all those guys. I can't run any 10, 20, 30 lineup in GPPs because I'm busy at first lock. I'm screwed. Yeah, that's the one thing about NBA. Like, you have to be ready to make changes before lock and after lock. But like MLB, that's the one thing I do like about MLB. Like, you can still play MLB and NBA and not have to stress. Like, obviously you're going to stress playing NBA because there's always news that comes out during the day. But MLB, it's kind of a sport where you can kind of set your lineups and forget it. Once we get the team's lineups, you can fill out your lineups with the team's lineups. Like, once we get the official team's lineups. I mean, you still have to track weather and stuff, but MLB, I do like that about MLB. You can kind of, set it and forget it. You don't have to worry about guys getting late scratched. I mean, it'll still happen every now and then, but not often. And even if guys do get late scratched in MLB, it's usually a pretty easy swap to make. Turner, if Sabonis is out, yeah, Turner gets a big bump up for me if Sabonis is out. Is Lonzo a lock if Zion and Ingram are out again? I mean, if they're both out again, I think Lonzo is clearly a top play for sure. Is he a lock? I can't say he's a lock, but he would definitely be towards the top of my list for sure. All right, guys, I got to hop off. I got to go meet my mom for dinner real quick. We got to go eat a little quick meal, but I appreciate all you guys tuning in. Was going to go live do a little shorter stream today. I'm going to be live for about 30 minutes or so. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Should be back tomorrow with another stream. We'll go live a little bit longer tomorrow. As always, I appreciate the support, guys. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for all my members, for all my super chats. You guys rock. Love you guys. Good night. Good luck. Let's get it, baby.